Welcome back to Daytime. Isn't that a beautiful plate?
Thanks, Ken.
It's gorgeous. Our thanks to Beth from the London Potters Guild for helping us learn how to make some pottery. I'm not so sure I want that for Christmas anymore,
It's definitely
though.
one of those things that looks far easier than it actually is.
When you saw it on Ghost, it was a lot easier.
It was.
So,
mind you, if I had Patrick Swayze standing behind me, my motivation may have been a little more different.
Well, from things that look a lot easier on TV to things that look really, really hard, we're talking Olympic weightlifting. This is... I like that little exasperated huff from Sabrina.
I had the chance to
because
try
you had to do
this,
that.
yes.
We've got Kari and Craig from Empower Conditioning joining us, and so before we take a look at it, because we do actually have footage of Sabrina doing some lifting, what, by definition, what is it?
An Olympic lift is going to be a powerful, explosive movement that is an actual Olympic sport. So in the Olympics, they're going to use a clean and jerk, and they're going to use a snatch. And those two movements, you didn't do the snatch, you did the clean and jerk. And you did a power clean and jerk. You didn't do the full clean. So, but what Sabrina did is a tool that I would use in training for any power athletes. So any of my volleyball players, national level athletes, even younger level athletes, so that they can learn more explosive movements and powerful movements and play that into their training.
What I found in doing this is it made my brain think. You know, because when I'm at the gym just lifting weights, I can do that. You know, la 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 la. But you really, there's some brain work that goes into this, yeah?
Yeah, due to the fact that it's a multi-joint movement, so you're trying to coordinate basically all the muscles in your body to work synchronously to perform one movement. And you obviously saw that that was difficult as opposed to doing a single joint movement like a bicep curl. Meanwhile, you're just focusing on flexing your arm. You have to extend your knee, your hips, your shoulders, your elbows all simultaneously.
So on the film you saw a deadlift, and what I was doing was basically a prerequisite type movement. So if someone can do a solid deadlift, they're going to have a good position for doing a pull, which was the next thing you saw. And here I'm doing a catch. So all I'm doing is I'm breaking down the movement of a clean so that when you put it all together, then you're going to do a little power clean.
Yeah, we took baby steps, which was smart because each movement.
There's the clean, there's a power clean. So just it looks easy, but there's a clean and jerk.
Okay, first of all, if I can just say, Kari, how much do you weigh?
I'm 50 kilos, so 110 pounds.
Okay, and how much were you lifting?
That's a lightweight for me. That's about 80 pounds.
Right.
So
But normally, if you were actually working at it, what would you be lifting?
I'd probably do 90 to 100 pounds right now. When I used to do it more often, I'd go my body weight or more than my body weight, around there. So yeah, it's not, you got to work, but that takes years of work. It's like learning a new language for your body.
Okay, well then we got to ask Craig the same question.
Craig.
Yeah, now for you, Craig?
I've snatched over my body weight, which is
Snatch is a little harder.
It's a lot more difficult, which is over 225 pounds.
Yeah.
And I've clean and jerked almost 300.
Wow.
But to put in perspective,
Yeah.
the 2008 Beijing Olympics, the lightest weight category woman, which is about 110 pounds, clean and jerked over 300 pounds. So she was stronger than me, and she was half my body weight.
That's incredible.
So to put in perspective, a beginner compared to an intermediate compared to world class is different worlds.
It
She
just
ain't
goes
got
to
nothing
show.
on me. Let's have a look at some of the
exactly.
footage of me trying to do the Olympic style lifting here. So
Just working on her form,
Yep.
so just her position, where she needs to be. So just trying to make sure that she's got all the positioning. And if she's in the wrong position to start, the start position is everything. If she's in the wrong position to start, then everything falls apart later in the movement. So we want to just get the right position. So she's just working on a deadlift position, making sure that she can get her hips back, still keep her chest high.
it was really important to, I have an old back injury, so you know, doing this, if you're not doing it right, you could do some injury.
Yeah, so your entire core is stabilized the entire time. What we'd call, I usually call it an energy leak if we have a break in posture. So you stayed solid throughout. There's your deadlift, starting from a good position and working on pushing your hips forward, keeping your chest high, and now you're working on trying to go into the pull. So initially you kind of pulled with your arms only versus driving up with the legs. Then you started driving a little more with the legs. You want to lead with your elbows high versus leading with the wrists. There we go. So just that progression, working on it. But initially you found that you couldn't get your elbows high enough. So I decided,
Love the face there.
are you sure about this?
I would love to say your form is very good for someone.
Oh, yeah.
Probably tried this for the first
Yeah,
time.
that was the first time, for
For
sure.
giving it a go for the first time, it's not an easy thing, and you really progressed quickly. You did really well.
I like the fact that they let you use the special Empower invisible 50-pound weights.
Yes.
That was really nice of them.
Thank you.
I think that's something to remember too when you are starting out something like this, that you don't get discouraged quickly because it is such a complex movement that it's going to take years and years to become proficient at. So
There she goes.
practicing it multiple times a day even over the course of years to become good.
So then, Craig, how much would you say? I mean, you said that people a third of your weight or half of your weight are lifting much more than you. How much is it pure strength, and how much of it is technique?
It's a combination of both. You
Right.
can't do one without the other, but from the beginning, from the get-go, as I'm sure Kari was trying to get the point across with Sabrina, technique is so important at the beginning, and then you're not going to get that massive strength development if you don't get that technique down from the get-go. And that's something I think a lot of people fail to remember and pay attention to, is that training at the beginning and learning properly is key.
And that's why we worked so hard on the movement pattern first, and then adding the load after. So I wasn't going to have you try and lift any weight with it and just have your movement pattern fall apart. You need to reinforce that movement pattern, as with learning any type of movement. So
Yeah, I would never have been able to do that if we hadn't done those baby
Yeah.
steps, for sure. One last question before we go. If I was to incorporate this into my workout routine regimen, how many days a week would I want to do something like this?
it's really going to depend on what your goal is. If you want to really become good at Olympic lifting, this might be something that you're doing every day or every other day, or portions of lifts every day and then focusing on a bigger lift every other day. If it's something that you're just using to enhance and get something different in your workout, then it might be once or twice a week. So it really depends on what the goals are, because we like to train specifically for the goals versus just random training. But it is something that for someone really bored and stale with their training, they want a new challenge, it's really something that will add a lot to their workouts.
For sure. Thank you so much to both of you.
No problem.
All right. If you want to try it out, go check them out at Empower Conditioning, 206 Piccadilly, where Piccadilly and Richmond kind of meet right there.
Coming up, we're shaping eyebrows, but first let's take a look at today's Pet of the Day.